The Grand Egyptian Museum GEM, the world's largest museum dedicated to a single civilization, opens near the Giza pyramids, showcasing over 100,000 artifacts, including Tutankhamun's treasures, with cutting-edge conservation and sustainable design. Egypt's Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, joined by the Minister of Tourism and Antiquities and official sponsors, held a press conference ahead of the Grand Egyptian Museum's inauguration. Madbouli hailed the event as an exceptional global celebration and a monumental culture achievement, describing the museum as Egypt's gift to humanity and a proud symbol of its ancient civilization. He expressed deep appreciation to everyone who contributed to the project and commended the private sector for its partnership in making the opening possible. Egypt's Minister of Finance Ahmed Kojak has said the inauguration of the Grand Egyptian Museum marks a historic turning point, describing it as a cultural icon and a strategic economic asset. Kojak highlighted the museum's scale, modern displays and unmatched collection as key drivers for tourism, investment and sustainable economic growth. He added that the GEM also sets a model for public-private partnerships, strengthens Egypt's global tourism position and opens new opportunities for foreign direct investment. UNESCO's regional office has praised the opening of Egypt's Grand Egyptian Museum, the GEM, calling it a pivotal step in safeguarding the nation's cultural heritage. The organization highlighted the museum's role as a global center for culture, science and even innovation, and a bridge between history and modernity. UNESCO has supported the project since its inception, emphasizing its contribution to heritage, education and sustainable development. The Egyptian Ministry of Local Development has spent 519 million pounds, $11 million to upgrade the area around the Grand Egyptian Museum. According to an official statement, the project included improvements to major roads such as the Cairo-Alexandria Desert Road, public lighting, building facades and green spaces in preparations for the museum's inauguration. We're joined from Cairo by the former Egyptian Tourism and Antiquities Minister, Hisham Zaazou. A very warm welcome and a very historic special day, sir. Welcome to Qnews. The Prime Minister described the Grand Egyptian Museum's inauguration as an exceptional event. What makes this opening so unique, so Egypt's modern cultural history?
Well, I add and second what the Prime Minister just mentioned today in his speech. I believe, as we say in history, before Christ and Anno Domini, BC and AD, I believe the Egyptian tourism will mark a difference after the opening of the Grand Egyptian Museum. The fact, because it will be overlooked by millions, hundreds of millions of people around the world, on TV screens this evening. I believe this will have an impact on potential interest in visiting the country. I assume that the Grand Egyptian Museum will mark in itself a destination within Egypt as a destination for tourists. And I mean, the Egyptian tourism sector has been advancing quite rapidly the past couple of years, and I believe this will continue to take the same momentum and even accelerated with the opening of the Grand Egyptian Museum.
Sir, Madbouli also called the museum a global edifice. In what ways does the Grand Egyptian Museum reflect international standards of design, preservation, and visitor experience?
The fact is that GEM, or the Grand Egyptian Museum, is unique in itself. It constitutes in itself 100,000 pieces of history of Egypt, which is in itself unique because there is no other museum in the world that holds this kind of number of artifacts in one place for one civilization. That's number one. Number two, it was embedded in a special design, architecturally speaking, giving the feel of the pyramids and the Egyptian history in that sense. And at the same time, putting it together and mixing it with the latest in technology, AI and artificial intelligence, and what you may have in technology. The latest in that respect is going to give a different experience altogether for the visitor in that sense. So he was right, definitely.
The Prime Minister also said that the museum is Egypt's gift to the world, sir. How does this project embody Egypt's message to humanity about heritage, peace, and shared civilization?
I believe, when you put the pyramids as a picture, everybody says this is Egypt. I believe this will be the fourth pyramid in that sense, if I may say that. And the fact is that this special architecture and this special museum and the number of artifacts and pieces that is available and coupled with the technology used will make a very special experience for the visitor. And having said that, I believe this is a message to the world that Egypt is still building like it did with its ancestors, the pharaohs. It's still building iconic buildings and gathering its history to visit in one place, which is unique in itself. So this message tonight, this evening, will be shared by the whole world. And I believe this is a message of peace and welcoming people from all around the world to come and over and experience this firsthand in Egypt on its soil.
Sir, I think you were one of the people that shared in the building of this museum, which is the biggest museum all over the world today.
Yes, that's very true. I was one of the people that witnessed the progress, particularly after 2011. As you may well know, the idea goes back 20 or 30 years as an idea. Then 20 years ago, they started and then stopped because of the 2011 incident that took place politically here. But again, it took off end of 2013, 2014. I was there as a minister, and we were following up on the building of this fantastic icon museum. And I was seeing the progress done in a very unique way as far as with the help of the Egyptian and international experts in the field of Egyptology and architecture at the same time.
Today, sir, as this museum is, we're awaiting the inauguration and is on the way. And you were part of this very important, of course, if not the most important that's happening today all over the world and globally, and all the world is watching Egypt today. How do you feel, sir?
No, I feel proud. Pride is the word the real world, any Egyptian and myself included, feeling today proud about this event, proud being an Egyptian, proud being part of the industry of tourism and antiquities, proud that I'm going to witness this evening this grand opening of this grand Egyptian museum. I'm proud to see Egypt taking off among the world in the coming days, weeks, and years in a better direction, because we have suffered a lot in the past. Where we believe we're moving in the coming period peacefully into a better future. That all this bring me this special feeling of pride today.
Sir, beyond symbolism, what long-term cultural, educational, and economic impact is the Grand Egyptian Museum expected to have for Egypt and the global community?
Well, for Egypt, economically speaking, tourism is a very important pillar of the Egyptian economy. It contributed 8.1% for the GDP in Egypt. We have received 15.7 million visitors, generating $15.3 billion last year, 2024. I believe this year we have a double-digit growth. We will reach 18 million visitors with more than $18 billion, and we're heading to achieve the objective of 30 million tourists, $30 billion in income for the Egyptian economy. And we hopefully will continue that growth in the future, which means that the Egyptian tourism will be one of the most important drivers of this economy, and will help create a better future for its people in that sense. So I believe this will be accelerated because of the Grand Egyptian Museum. So this is for Egypt, and economically speaking. Culturally, it's sending the world a simple statement. We are Egypt in that sense. We are creating history again by having this museum. We are welcoming the people to come and enjoy our culture, enjoy our history, and enjoy our modernism too. Egypt, with the new infrastructure itself, will make it easy for people to come and move around and enjoy the different aspects of Egypt's wealth when it comes to culture and history in that sense. It's a message of culture at its best, and also peace, which is in itself extremely welcomed by everybody around the world.
Of course, Your Excellency, you just mentioned tourism. However, I want to ask you another question on the long term, sir, and your view, the effects the museum have on Egypt's tourism industry, sir. Especially, sir, in terms of economic recovery and sustainability. How do you read this, sir?
I know I read it very clearly. The building of this iconic museum means that we are moving on the right path of sustainability. We're moving on the right path on exploring our history and culture, exporting this to the whole world, which means entails that more and more visitors will be coming to experience firsthand the treasures that we have in this country. And accordingly, this will be having a profound effect on the Egyptian tourism by accelerating its growth. I just mentioned two figures that last year we reached 15.7. This year, hopefully, we will reach 18%, which means a double-digit increase, where the whole world increases by a single digit of approximately 4 to 5%, which means that the interest to visit Egypt and the interest to contribute to its economy accordingly is there, and it's going to move across this for the coming period. Tonight will draw the attention on the various TV screens around the world, and I believe if we will definitely make use of this evening's inaugural opening of the the Grand Museum, and we will build on it as a country, as a government, and as the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities. Will build on that for its messages to promote the tourism more and more in the coming period. We have it all. We have this product and we have other tourism products, and I believe there will be a cross interest between these products in itself, and particularly the historical products and the cultural products of Egypt, because it suffered at one time a lot. Now it's been revived again, which is the main important product for Egypt. No doubt that this product in particularly is a unique product for Egypt in the world. Nobody has pyramids, nobody has this kind of a museum addressing only one civilization, which is the Egyptian civilization. Nobody in the world has the number of pyramids, the number of temples, the number Nile in itself, and on the banks of the Nile we have this history. You go through it, it's a different experience. That product is unique for Egypt and for the world. So I believe tourism will definitely benefit a lot, particularly the cultural tourism.
Your Excellency, former Egyptian Tourism and Antiquities, Mr. Hisham Zazoa from Cairo. I wouldn't thank you better, sir, for being with us in such a wonderful, of course, day, historic day, which of course, pride for Egypt and Egyptians, and the inauguration of the Grand Egyptian Museum, which we've been long awaiting, sir, which is Egypt's gift to the entire world. Thank you so much for joining us here on Qnews and being part of this very special day, sir. United Media Services will provide the Grand Egyptian Museum inauguration broadcast free to Egypt, Arab and international outlets, enabling millions worldwide to follow the historic celebration in ultra-high definition. UMS said the world feed for the Grand Egyptian Museum opening will be able free of charge to all media, aiming to maximize global reach for Egypt's culture showcase. The ceremony will feature exceptional ultra-high definition coverage using the latest production technologies to capture heritage exhibits, performances, and official proceedings. The move is designed to reflect Egypt's culture, grandeur, highlight modern production capabilities, and ensure a seamless viewing experience for audiences across television and digital platforms. Egypt's Central Bank Governor Hassan Abdullah called the Grand Egyptian Museum's inauguration a national moment of pride, saying it proves Egypt's resilience and creativity and its ability to deliver despite global challenges. Hassan Abdullah said the Grand Egyptian Museum reflects a nation determined to advance in the face of global headwinds. He noted the landmark will support growth by lifting tourism, drawing investment, and showcasing modern capabilities alongside ancient heritage. The governor added that gem stands as a symbol of pride and hope, evidence that Egyptians are shaping their present and future through dedication and discipline. Officials expect the opening to strengthen Egypt's image, stimulate visitor spending, and anchor new projects across cultural services and infrastructure. And for further coverage, joining us from the Grand Egyptian Museum is Al Qahira News correspondent Dina Zahra, our dear colleague. Dina.
Cultural project in the world. The entire world is now looking at this grand museum, observing and watching what's going to happen and what is going to contain of surprises, especially that the ancient Egyptian civilization attracts a lot of from all over the world. There are admirers from everywhere. This museum, in spite of containing several artifacts telling the story and narrative of the ancient Egyptian civilization, but it's also coping up with technology and advancement based on modern technologies in the display methods, storage methods, and the temperature, the lighting, and the humidity suited for the displayed artifacts, so as well as the virtual reality experiences that will be carried out for the visitors to coexist into a semi-factual, true way with the ancient Egyptian civilization. Let us now move to our correspondent, Ayman Al-Hawizi from the Media Center in the Grand Egyptian Museum. Hello, Iman, and let us see now what are the most recent developments inside the museum. Yes, Dina, a while ago, everyone has seen the press conference of the Prime Minister, and there has been a detailed discussion on the challenges overcome to build this Grand Egyptian Museum, this effigies displaying historical treasures that has never been seen before by the world or visitors. This press conference featured panelists of the partners of building this effigies, and there has been a lengthy discussion on very prominent points on how it was built and constructed, the phases and the partnerships made for the final phase since 2002. For in 2 years, we will celebrate the 25-year ceremony of the establishment of the idea of the museum. The press conference also shed light on some very prominent points causing the international and regional momentum on this museum. The main reason for this is related to the magnitude of this evidence. What is the point and what is the aim of building such architecture to gain such momentum and such position? Of course, the dividend that will come to Egypt, which is indicated and pointed out by the partners of building this museum, how it will promote cultural tourism and how it is going to provide a complete journey to the Egyptian civilization. And it is a modern method of combining all types of tourism, attracting tourists to cultural and recreational activities. Only 2 kilometers away from the Giza pyramids, which are painting a picture of a complete vision of the Egyptian civilization. We have noticed a very high number of international media, global media, attending the press conference, monitoring the views of those partners and the speech delivered by the Prime Minister about the phases of construction, and of course all were praised all throughout the phases of construction. Now we are only a few hours away from the start of the inaugural ceremony, long awaited by the entire world. From the media center, I find a lot of media and institutions attending to follow up and provide full coverage of this extraordinary event, which will include a large number of events. I would also like to point out to a different part distinguishing the Grand Egyptian Museum. In addition to being the greatest at a global level, it contains 100,000 artifacts, which exceeds the Louvre and metropolitan. It is based on technology, it's eco-friendly, and throughout the construction phases there has been a lot of emphasis on this matters, in the lighting and the solar panel usage, promoting the vision of sustainable development. It's also worth mentioning that there has been close monitoring and follow-up coverage by the international media, which dedicated spaces for the coverage of the museum, such as the New York Times and Washington Post. Um, all here represented in the media center, dedicating spaces on their platforms for the museum, including, for example, who gave a bigger space for the economic dividend by this museum, and more space for this museum as a beacon for scholars and researchers and archaeologists interested in the Egyptian civilization, as it included 400 Egyptian and foreign experts. Thank you so much, Iman Al-Hawizi from the Media Center and the Grand Egyptian Museum. Of course, this museum distinguished by several dimensions related to everything that is unique and exceptional in the organizational aspect, in the archaeological aspect, the restoration and scientific aspects. Let us now move to Aya Lutfi joining us from the halls of the Grand Egyptian Museum. What do you have? We are still waiting for the inaugural ceremony, the long-awaited event, but let me tell you what I'm seeing at the moment. Obviously, preparations are taking place, and we are waiting for a very surprising event. What I'm seeing is the preparations of a very large and grandeur event. Of course, you have followed up the controversies and the momentum gained on this point, but I think that we're going to see magnificent events tonight. Let me tell you about the security taking place. A very high level security measures are taken, facilitations for everyone for carrying IDs, allowing them to enter this area. We are here in the outdoor area of the museum, where a lot of journalists and correspondents are standing to cover this event, and there was a speech delivered by His Excellency Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, who extended thanks to the private sector partners who participated massively in the building of this museum as the Egyptian gift to the entire world, a surprise from the 7,000-year civilization. There has been emphasis on the magnitude of artifacts contained in this museum, all belonging to only one civilization, which is the Egyptian ancient civilization. You have talked about combining the ancient civilization and the technology used today. We see the highest level of technology being used. This mixture of both dimensions will take the tourist to a comprehensive journey, going through the secrets and surprises of the Egyptian civilization, with the technology allowing them to get to know and live with the artifacts in a modern way. In addition to the facilitation to be provided, the restaurants opened the entire area with all logistics and services and advancement in the infrastructure. The entire area was highly developed, only 2 kilometers away from the Giza pyramids, and this will be a tourist destination. 5 million tourists are expected to visit this museum annually. All media agencies, including Fitch, they said that by 2029, Egypt will receive from the tourism sector more than 5% of the GDP. We are talking about huge numbers, 30 million tourists to visit Egypt. we are going to follow up this with you and cover this with you. In the entire media centers are talking about the 7,000-year civilization. And now there are terminology known to everyone. The Grand Stairway, taking the tourist to a 3,000-year journey from the prehistory era to the Roman era to the Greek era through this grand stairway covering 6 floors. Let us now move to the perimeter of the Grand Egyptian Museum. How is it looking? We will know from our correspondent Ayman Ahmed from the Sphinx Airport. To you, Ayman. Yes, we have received high-level delegations from Belgium, Hungary and Portugal, and we're also now waiting from the UAE and Cyprus and Jordan. Also waiting for the Prime Minister of Spain. A lot of momentum in the International Sphinx Airport to receive the incoming delegations, and they will be, of course, later on transported to the Grand Egyptian Museum that is of a distance of 40 kilometers. It takes around 30 minutes to get there to the Grand Egyptian Museum, which is going to be inaugurated in the upcoming few hours. The Ministry of Airlines has provided teams to receive the delegations coming by one by one. The reception phase is going to include transporting the delegations to the Grand Egyptian Museum. The airport now is equipped with grand screens to display the opening preparations. Thank you, Ahmed, our correspondent from Sphinx Airport. Now to another airport to find out the recent developments and preparations. We have Abdelmanam Ibrahim from the Cairo International Airport. To you, Abdelmanam. Welcome, Dina. We are waiting now for the delegations to arrive to the Cairo International Airport, one of the 2 destinations dedicated and assigned for the delegations to receive the delegations coming to attend the inauguration ceremony of the Grand Egyptian Museum, the official inauguration. We are now waiting to the Djibouti delegation to the Cairo International Airport, as well as the Saudi delegation and the Crown Prince of Bahrain, who is now expected at the Cairo International Airport. Then they will be transported to the Grand Egyptian Museum. We talk about the momentum now witnessed in the Cairo International Airport to receive the delegates to the airport who were transported yesterday or last night to their accommodation places. The Prime Minister at the moment is receiving his Lebanese counterpart in an official reception ceremony. The Armenian president as well has arrived a while ago to participate and take place in the Grand Egyptian opening ceremony, the one museum dedicated to only one civilization, which is the ancient Egyptian civilization. For the preparations taking place in the Cairo International Airport, receiving the delegations, all the terminals, Terminal 1, Terminal 2 and 3, and the VIP lounge are highly prepared and equipped to receive the high-level dignitaries invited to the opening ceremony. We will be covering the details in the upcoming hours in this special coverage in the Grand Egyptian Museum. This was a small window from the Grand Egyptian Museum to get to know the details. Back again now to the studio.
Thank you very much. That was our special coverage live from the Grand Egyptian Museum. We also went to the Cairo Egyptian International Airport, where, of course, we understand that the delegations are starting to arrive, and already many arrived, and this was by our correspondents. A historic day where Egypt unveiled its grandest culture achievement to the world, from ancient treasures to modern innovations. Today's inauguration reflects Egypt's enduring legacy and its vision for the future. We'll continue to bring you more updates and reactions throughout the day, minute by minute and second by second, so stay tuned.